In this example, we want to take several matrices, compute some products or sums if they exist. So we can start by looking at the dimensions of these different matrices. We see that A is 2 rows and 3 columns. B is also 2 rows and 3 columns. C is a 2 by 2 matrix. And V is a 3-row and 1 column vector. So based on this, we can see that the product AB would be 2 by 3 times 2 by 3 is not defined because the inner numbers don't match. And the exact same goes for the product BA, because that will also be 2 by 3 times 2 by 3. However, we can add A and B. That works totally fine. So A plus B will give the matrix of adding each entry one by one. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 4 is 7, 1 plus negative 2 is minus 1, minus 1 plus 1 is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2, and 3 plus 0 is 3. Now the product A times C will also not be defined. That's 2 by 3 times 2 by 2. And again, the inner numbers do not match, so that is not defined. However, C times A is defined. This would be 2 by 2 times 2 by 3. These inner numbers match. And so this product works. We can compute it then. So we can compute C times A is going to be row 1 of C divided with column 1 of A. So 1 times 2 plus 5 times minus 1. Move over. 1 times 3 plus 5 times 0. And then to the last column, 1 times 1 plus 5 times 3. Stepping down to row 2 of C with column 1 of A. 8 times 2 plus negative 2 times minus 1. Stepping over, you have 8 times 3 plus negative 2 times 0. And to the last column, 8 times 1 plus negative 2 times 3, which give us a product, minus 3, 3, 16, 18, 24, 2. Which is 2 by 3 as expected, because we had 2 by 2 times 2 by 3. The inner ones match, and the outside is 2 by 3. Now A times V, V is a 3 by 1 vector, so a 2 by 3 to 3 by 1, that should be defined, should give me a 2-dimensional vector at the end. So A times V is writing this out again. So row 1 of A times the column of V is 2 plus 3 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 0 plus 3 gives me the vector 6, 2. Because A is a 2 by 3 matrix, it sends 3 component vectors to 2 component vectors, so that makes sense. Whereas the product C times V is not defined, because I have 2 by 2 trying to multiply 3 by 1. The inner numbers do not match, and therefore this is not defined. This example here shows some different matrix operations, which ones are not defined, and how these all interact with each other. And we're trying to figure out how matrices can act on each other and act on vectors.